It's a Keystone State clash as the Steelers travel across Pennsylvania to play the Eagles. Justin, two division leaders here, two similar styles of play. Is this going to be a rock'em sock'em type game?
Ooh, I like that. Me and AQ. I'm the Philadelphia guy. AQ's the Pittsburgh guy. Him and his Steelers, I think, are going to have a sad, sad Sunday. You know, they're playing against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are dealing with more controversy off the field than they are on the field. I think the Eagles should actually go over pregame, ask Mike Tomlin how he dealt with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben, because the Steelers know how to deal with the off the field. They know how to deal with the personalities. A.J. Brown, they asked him after the game, they said, "Hey, A.J., what's wrong with the Eagles? They've won like every game in a row now." And he's like, "We can't pass." Colt, you've talked about this time and time again. Jalen Hurts struggles to make those just easy, hit a guy in stride and make it go. The Eagles have been playing phenomenal defense. Jalen Carter is probably the most feared defensive tackle in football right now, and it happened overnight. He was puking on the right before the plays, and now he's making everybody look foolish. They have Quinyon Mitchell, Quinyanamo Bay, they like to call him. He's locking down the number one receiver. They have one of the two exciting whites in Cooper DeJean. I really like this Eagles team. Zach Braun, Nakobe Dean at linebacker are playing really good football. Saquon Barkley is going to break Eric Dickerson's record, hopefully. Hopefully he does it this year. He looks great. The O-line is maybe, if it's not better than Detroit, it's the second best, but I think they probably are the best right now. The Steelers have overproduced. Now, they have one of the best defensive lines, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. I'm looking for Russell Wilson to come back down to earth a little bit in this one. He didn't have George Pickens last week. He was out. That didn't really stop them against the vaunted Cleveland Browns. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles have everything. It's a matter of how they show up and how they come into this game, and if they're going to let that off the field impact how they play.
Yeah. How you were there. How much of a distraction is that between quarterback receiver deal, or is that something that's being a little bit overblown?
I saw this last year. We played the Philadelphia Eagles when I was on the New York Giants. We played them Christmas Day. You could hear this team arguing with one another on the field. The offense blaming the defense saying, "Here they go again." Jalen Hurts had thrown a pick six that we had returned on Christmas Day, and you heard the defense arguing with the offense as they were exchanging the field. A.J. Brown threw that tantrum on the sideline last year. It looked like he had grown past that. Just last week, A.J. Brown came out and said, "Look, I play with Derrick Henry in Tennessee. I know what it takes to win these games. Getting Saquon the ball has been the X factor." And then you see him on the sidelines this past week, and he's pissed off after the game. He basically throws Jalen under the bus. Those things have to stay in-house. I'm nervous that that's a little bit what led to that collapse at the end of last season. Is that going to creep into this locker room, or can the leaders of the team stop it, suppress it, and move on to the main goal, which is winning a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do. They're in a position to be, right in the middle of all these playoff teams in the NFC. They're going to be hard to beat. AQ, on paper, going into this matchup, we think both teams are going to be running the football a lot. And as an offensive lineman, knowing you're going into a run-heavy game, did that fire you up a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming all week, and it starts with Wednesday's practice, right? You're probably going to have a little 9-on-7. The coaches are going to be talking a little shit like, "Hey, how you going to block TJ Watt this week? I heard him say this." They start making up headlines, right? They start saying all the things. So you know what's coming. Listen, you know exactly what's coming. But here's the thing. The difference between these two groups is one's a top 5 offensive line, in my opinion, and one's a bottom 5 offensive line. I think that's the biggest difference. Philly's O-line's incredible. Broderick Jones, Mason McCormick, these guys still need a lot of work. They're young guys. They brought them in. They're still way behind kind of the curve as per se. I really like the center in Pittsburgh. Zach Frazier, second-round pick out of West Virginia. I like the guard who came from Philadelphia, Samuala. And the left tackle, Dan Moore, has actually played above expectations this year. But you look at the other side, and they are the best O-line in football over the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, right? And it's evident when you watch it, and it all comes down to Saquon Barkley. I just got done watching the film. What he's able to do and take runs that should be 4 and 5 yard gains and turn them into 10, 15, 20 yard gains is incredible. There was a play they run a counter this past week, should have been tackled for 4. He has one of the sweetest little like stop and starts, fly by the linebacker and picks up another 7, and now you got a plus 10 run, right? So I think this game's going to be interesting. This will be the toughest test, though, for this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, in my opinion, because I think Cam Hayward might be playing his best ball of his career at age 36 or whatever he is. TJ, right? He's playing great. Herbig's playing great. Benton's playing incredible in the middle at the nose. So, I mean, and the linebackers are downhill guys. So this is going to be a fun matchup to watch if you're an O-line, D-line trenches guy.
Yeah. Jay, how do you see this game going on? The one stat that jumps out to me when you look at the Steelers and you look at the Eagles is the Steelers are plus 17 in the turnover margin. How do you think that plays into this game?
That gets Jay excited.
Well, I think that's why Russell Wilson was named the starter, because he does not turn the ball over. He's very careful with the football. And that's a good thing, especially when you play in Pittsburgh with the defense that they have. Turnovers will kill you. That's just the way it is. They're going to play close games. They're going to win at the end. And in order to do that, you can't turn the ball over. And Russell has been one of the top quarterbacks in league history as far as not turning the ball over. So that's a good thing. The issue I have with this game is, number one, Philadelphia's got to figure out their kicking situation. Jake Elliott's missed a lot of kicks lately, and that's a problem. If this game comes down to a field goal, is he going to have the stones to step up and make a 48, 50-yard field goal? He hasn't made a 50-yarder yet this year, so that's a big one. And then there's no George Pickens. That's a big one for obviously Pittsburgh. So that's their big play, moonball threat guy. Austin's a good player. He's got some speed. Obviously, Freiermuth can do some things, but they're not like George Pickens. So where is Pittsburgh going to go when the running plays dry up? That's the problem that I have. That's why I give the edge to Philadelphia, because Philadelphia, despite the little arguing, and AJ, just be quiet and play receiver. All right, just let's go behind closed doors and talk about your offense and your passing game. Get with Kellen Moore and say, hey, man, just throw me the ball a couple times. I'll throw me a quick screen first down in the first quarter. I'll be happy. Just give me the ball. You pay me a lot of money. Throw me the ball, but do it behind closed doors. But they have the ability to still hurt you down the field with the passing game with Devontae and AJ, and obviously losing Goddard hurts. But I that's why I give the edge to Philadelphia, because I think Jalen Carter and those big guys can stop the run, and I think they'll force Russ into some known passing situations. And I think they'll struggle without Pickens.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Pickens doesn't play, that's a big loss for the Steelers. Justin, if you have 100% credit to deal out for Russell Wilson's resurgence, how much are you giving to Mike Tomlin? How much are you actually giving to Russell Wilson or somebody else on this Steelers football team?
All right, I'm gonna deal it out a little bit here. I'm gonna give 33% to Russell Wilson. He swallowed his pride, took the largest dead cap hit in NFL history, took a minimum salary to come to the Steelers. He knew he needed the right team around him. So for Russ to put himself in that situation, give him 33%. 33% goes to Mike Tomlin. He is well compensated. Those are his words. How he chose to start Russ over Justin Fields after Justin Fields had a good start to the season. And then 33, I'm giving to the supporting cast. Justin Fields for holding down the ship until Russ got back. And then to be quite honest, George Pickens and that defense have been carrying this team all season long. So I think the entire cast of characters deserve a little bit. And then I'll throw a little bit. I'll give 1% to AQ Shipley and all his Pittsburghian nights. Like I'll give 101% because that city has rallied around Russell. He may be the corniest guy of all time. He's going to the Children's Hospital. He's impacting that city in a positive light, and they're showing him love. They got the terrible towels going, so I got to give a shout out to the city of Pittsburgh too.
Well, you know who does get 100% credit? Everybody who has liked and subscribed to this channel. Keep it up. Keep it rolling. We're close to hitting 10,000 subscribers, and we love doing this show and giving you the best game preview content that we got. We're going to keep rolling. Appreciate all the support. AQ, back to you, man. The MVP is a QB-driven award. We just talked about Josh Allen. Justin talked about, his love with Lamar Jackson. Jared Goff's playing good. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley. What does he need to do statistically to make sure, like, at the end of all this, when the voting people come out and we're voting on MVP, that he's right there?
As much as it pains me to say this is my Penn State brother. I love what Saquon is doing. Everybody in the world knows he's the best player in the NFL this year. He's got no chance. it's going to go to a quarterback. That's the biggest problem. He's going to run for 2,100, 2,200 yards. He's going to break the record. He's made that team so much better than they were a year ago. It's the plays that I talked about earlier. It's the plays where he turns 5 into 15, 5 into 70. And how many 70-yard runs has he had this year? I mean, it's unbelievable. Every explosive category he leads in, whether it's plus 50, plus 40, plus 30, plus 20, plus 10. He's got it all. Touchdowns, out of the backfield, backwards hurdles. He can't do anything else. He deserves to win the MVP. He's the most valuable player, hands down, and what he's brought to that team. But it's going to go to a quarterback. It's going to go to, Jay, who is it?
Josh Allen.
There you go.
Hey, but if he breaks Eric Dickerson's rushing records that stood for all these years, you still don't think he'll win the MVP?
I'll give him a standing ovation, my man. I'll clap for him.
Screw that. If he breaks Dickerson's record, he deserves the MVP.
If he does it in 16 games, maybe, not 17.
Yeah, I'm going to say that. What if he does break it in 16 games? What if he does that?
That'll be a hell of a record to break. And then he is definitely, I'm not saying it's a done deal. Josh could have 4 terrible games coming up, and Saquon could rush for 150 in each, and Saquon could still win it. Lamar could come back. I get it. But right now, if the order's given out today, it's Josh Allen. Now, 4 weeks from now, who knows, fellas? Who knows? Does that make you feel better, Justin? Does that make you feel better?
Well, we're here to give our intelligent breakdown, Jay. So, yeah, appreciate the who knows. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the year that
I said right now, damn it.
The year that Saquon is having is nothing short of impressive, and he's the reason why the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles is where they are. I mean, he takes a lot of pressure off of Jalen Hurts. You know he leans on that offensive line. Just overall, he has been a difference maker. Jay, I know you're a big proponent of win no matter what, but looking at both these teams, who are both probably locks going into the playoffs pretty much. I mean, who do you think has more of a championship caliber DNA to them?
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
They both do, really. I mean, Eagles have already been there. Even without Saquon, they went to the Super Bowl. Can you imagine that? They didn't have Saquon, but they still went. But I love the way the Steelers are built. Steelers are built to travel in December and January because of the way they play, the way they've been playing for many years under Coach Tomlin. There's no doubt about their DNA is built the right way. Philadelphia, they're the most talented team probably out there. Offensive line, skilled guys, defense. I think from top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams, I think Philadelphia is as talented as anybody. So, yes, they're going to be right there at the end. So they just got to get together, play together. They got to, Jalen and AJ, they got to go to dinner tonight, get a steak, make a few jokes, have some fun together, and then they'll be fine. But both teams are very good, but I like the way the Steelers are built, but I just worry about their ability to come from behind. That's the biggest issue I have with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Just get A.J. Brown the ball, man. Don't
forget about Devontae. Devontae's pretty good, too. How come he's not going to
get him a few touches? You got to be able to handle, star wide receivers. And there's
receivers are like that.
Yeah,
exactly. You think if Justin Jefferson had one catch and the Vikings won 38-3, you think he'd be happy? He'd be a little disappointed. He'd be disappointed. So most receivers are like that, but just do it, especially in the Philadelphia media, for God's sake. It's going to be a huge overblown story. So they'll be fine.
You saw what happened. Brandon Graham came out and talked about them like they're the relationship. Now, he said he got misquoted, but he went on Philly talk show radio. That's why it all blew up last night.
Well, the biggest issue as a quarterback, you have to have Colt, and you teach your quarterbacks, your kids, whatever. You got to be mentally tough. I mean, you can't please everybody. You got to focus on your job, do the best you can. Don't worry about your players or coaches or fans talking about you. You just got to continue to go on. And I worry about that with Jalen. I feel like sometimes he lets the outside noise affect his play, and that can't happen.
Yeah. All right, let's get into who we like in this matchup, the Keystone State Clash. All right, AQ, who do you got in this one?
I like the Eagles. I keep riding with I think when we get into December football, I think you ride with the better offensive line. And I think whenever there's anything even close, I think you ride with that. And I think Philly has that. Having said all that, I haven't thought that this Pittsburgh team was very good all year long, and yet somehow they just continue to keep winning games. So maybe I'm a big dumb dipshit. Not sure. But either way, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are a better football team.
Justin?
I'm also a big dumb dipshit. Going with the Eagles.
Hell yeah.
Jay-Bird?
I think without George Pickens, I don't think they had much of a chance with George Pickens. Without George Pickens, I think they have no chance. So I'm going Philadelphia. And I would take higher on A.J. Brown's touchdowns in this game.
There you go. They'll figure it out, right? That's what you think. I think this is a matchup that everybody wants to watch this week. Two playoff teams going at it. Because you guys all picked Philly, I'm going with the Steelers. I'm going with the terrible towel. They travel well. I think their defense that AQ mentioned, their front seven, those guys have to play lights out. They have to bottle up Saquon Barkley, come in here and stop the run and say, Jalen, beat us with your arm. That's what they got to do. Nobody's been able to do that. I don't know if they can, but if they do, I think that's what we're going to be watching. And so that's what I think is going to happen. I think that the Steelers are going to come in and play really good defense. They're going to run the ball, control the clock, and find a way to win this game somewhere around the 23-20 type score.
That's the most important thing. Which defense can make the other team uncomfortable in what they do, other than handing the ball off to Najee or handing the ball off to Saquon? Which team can force them into 3rd and 8 and make Jalen read the field and avoid the pressure of T.J. Watt or Russell trying to avoid Jalen Carter coming up the gut or the pressure on the outside? So that's the team that's going to win, obviously.